And here we go. Welcome back. We are here for another episode of the Business Learning Lab. I am Jennifer Crawford, co-founder of Sparent LLC, with my co-founder here,
Meredith Eaton, co-founder, Sparent LLC.
I know saying the LLC, I don't know if that's necessary, but
I don't know, but it
feels very business official. Well, Business Learning Lab, if this is your first time catching a Business Learning Lab, this is where Meredith and I share the hard-earned lessons we've learned along our entrepreneurial journey. We've made all the mistakes, and hopefully we save some of you from making the ones that we've made. But today we're going to talk about something that I remember learning the hard way, and that is the Solopreneur Ceiling. It's what I call it, the Solopreneur Ceiling. I don't think anybody else calls it that. But this, to me, this is when you inhibit your business growth with due to a reluctance to hire and delegate. And what happens is you can only grow so much when it's just you, or maybe even just you and a virtual assistant or two. You're only going to be able to take your company so far. And the statistics bear us out.
yes.
And I love these statistics because they tell us so much. This one makes me sad. 89% of women-owned businesses bring in less than $100,000 of annual revenue. We're going to change that. That number is being changed as we speak, but it's very disheartening. Coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally, 90% of women-owned businesses have 0 employees. And yeah,
Not a coincidence.
it's not a coincidence, because you might be thinking that's a coincidence, but let me tell you this. 2% of women-owned businesses have 10 or more employees. Also, 2% of women-owned businesses make over $500,000 a year. 2%.
Not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence. It does correlate. You actually do need to hire and delegate in order to grow and scale a sustainable business. It's unavoidable. And if you don't, you do. You hit that revenue ceiling, that solopreneur revenue ceiling. I hit it hard in my first business. I would have been out of business if I hadn't learned how to hire and delegate a team and essentially clone myself in the form of additional people.
Exactly. It's not, it shouldn't be a leap for anyone to understand what we're talking about, because there's only so much that one person can do. And even if you're building a business that seems very, replicable, like maybe you're just doing online courses, right? That's always the myth of the solopreneur who makes $1 million, is all they do is create an online course and they can sell it. And then they, digital nomad, and it's great. However, chances are they're not actually operating alone. They've got graphics team, or they're using a platform that pushes it out. They have an assistant helping with the marketing of it, because the myth, the truth, we could do a whole other learning lab about the myth of those digital nomad $1 million, virtual course people. But the reality is it takes a lot of work and a lot of marketing and a lot of effort, and they're not doing it alone. They may be sort of the only person at the front of their company. So there's just so much that one person can do. You absolutely, if you want to break that ceiling, if you want to have unlimited growth, and it doesn't even matter what your actual numbers are. If you're not someone who making 500,000 feels like, oh, okay, that's my goal. If you just want to pay your bills, whatever, that's fine. The number isn't really the point. The point is the correlations, that without a team, your growth is limited. That's it. You're going to hit a ceiling.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, the number, the big, ginormous numbers are not that important. But at some point, the numbers are important, because if you're a business bringing in $100K a year, that is your revenue. Mm-hmm. That's not what you're paying yourself.
Right.
That's not your salary. So at some point, the numbers do do matter. And I say this all the time, with my first business, I started out treating it basically like a DIY career, right?
Mhm.
It was just and it was a bad one. It was horrible hours. I was overworked. I was overstressed. Um, and it wasn't until I started treating my business like an asset that things changed. And just that flip of the switch of the mindset made all the difference. Your business is an asset. You should be thinking, this is something that I can sell. And I was at an event last night, and they were, one of the speakers was talking to business owners about their exit strategy and having an exit strategy. And I know a lot of business owners, me included. I love our business, Spirit, virtual assistant agency. If you don't know, I love every second of running this business. I have no intention of selling it, but you know what? We're positioning our company so that it can be sold, because we never know what life has in store for us. And a company that is treated like an asset that can be sold is a company that runs efficiently, it's scalable, and profitable. So that's why that's important.
Exactly. And that's really the key. In the 100,000 a year is really that breaking point where pretty much whatever your P&L is, however it breaks down of the gross revenue versus net and profit, that it's somewhere in there is a livable wage. That's the bottom line with that as a benchmark. And after that is just everyone, whatever. But why hamstring yourself to start with? Why not start with this intention for growth? And also because if you want any hope of having a livable wage and paying your bills and a life, you're going to need help. You're going to need some kind of other people supporting you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk to solopreneurs, almost on a weekly basis around here at Spirit, and the reluctance to delegate and to hire, it's pretty consistent. Business owners don't want to lose control. They feel like they have a lot of control over their business when it's just them, or maybe just them and a virtual assistant. They fear losing that control. They fear the expense, the management of people. But the truth is, it's the solopreneurs that are the most overworked, the most stressed business owners I've met. They have the least time freedom. And they're the ones that when you talk to them, they're second guessing their decision to become an entrepreneur. And they're starting to consider potentially going back into the workforce, where they actually had a lot more control of their time. They had benefits. So that is where we try to guide people into opening up the way they look at their business and treat their business, so that they can actually have a business that's sustainable, meaning that sustainable pays them what they want to be paid, gives them financial and time freedom, and has staying power.
Exactly. And I think, underlying some of this, like you touched on a little bit, is a little bit of a notion of this. It's my company. I built it. It's hard to let go. It's hard to share. But also, I think as women, and that's primarily what we deal with as women business owners, there is a certain tendency towards I can do it and I should do it. I should do it all.
Yeah.
I should be handling everything. And it's okay that I'm stressed. It's okay that I'm overworked because that's just the expectation. Who am I to have a staff? Who am I to be a CEO? This is just my little, side gig. This is just the thing I do in addition to, whatever. That's not a real company. And that's a very, very common message. It's a message women are fed culturally, but that is one of the first mindset things that has to get broken through in order to make that leap. And that, absolutely, you don't need to do it all. You still can be in control of everything, but you can have help. You can have a team. You can have, sometimes it helps to think of it like a team. It's not that you're going to now have this staff and you're going to sit in a corner office and tell people what to do. You just got a team. You just bring on people who are going to help you and have your back. Because the other thing too is being a solopreneur is a very fragile state of existence. So if something happens, if you were to become very ill, and we've just come out of the global pandemic, people are in the hospital for months, you could lose your, you probably would lose your company if you were the sole person running it and responsible for it, and you were in a hospital or taking care of a spouse or a child who is ill, extremely ill, or in some other way incapacitated, let alone vacations and holidays and all that kind of stuff.
No, you make an excellent point on the business vulnerability. And that ties into the reason that a lot of women start businesses. It's, mission-based, passion-based. You want to serve, you want to help people. You're solving a problem for people. And at the other side of that are your customers that depend on you. So the more vulnerable your business, not only the less people you're able to serve, but the less chance that you're going to be able to go on serving those people for any length of time. And I think of, there are a couple small business owners that I do business with, and I adore them and I adore their business and I want them to succeed. However, they are one-person shows. And so guess what? I have backup businesses lined up in case they can't provide the services they provide because they get sick or they're on vacation, because they have no backup for themselves or for me, the customer. So, with those business owners who think they're losing control by hiring and delegating, you actually take back control when you hire and delegate. You take back control of your business. And when you bring on an employee, you absolutely have a lot of control over how that employee represents your business in terms of delivering and communicating your core values, having them carry out their core values in the fulfillment of their work and how that work is carried out. And that's communicated through training. And yes, when you have an employee, you can train them and have them, show up in a schedule that works for you and your company. So these are things that you can do with an employee that is more difficult or impossible to do with a contract hire. So these are all things, to consider in terms of like when you start building a team and you start considering whether you need an independent contractor or you need an employee, or in a lot of cases, a combination of both.
And I just want to make one more point. We're kind of out of time, but just one key point is that a lot of times the resistance comes from profit margin, right? I can't hire anyone because I can't share the money. And the answer to that is you're not charging enough and or your costs are out of alignment with what you're charging, that there's an answer there. But that is not an answer. That's an excuse, and that is a roadblock, and it needs to be overcome. So there's that just, we don't need to have a longer conversation because it's like full stop. If your reason for not bringing on team is because you feel like there isn't money for it, there's a different problem that has to be addressed.
Well, Meredith, that's a very strong point, and I 100% agree. It's a problem. It's a solvable problem, though.
It's a solvable problem.
Everything is figure outable, as they say, or as Marie Forleo says. A lot of people say it. I don't think she was the first one to say it. I was saying it too. So this concludes our Business Learning Lab for today. We invite you to join us. If you love to network and you have an online business, so you're geographically agnostic like we are, join us at our Lunch and Earns. They're every fourth Thursday of the month. Information on the scroll, just catch it there. You can also find it on our website at sparent.co. It's free to attend. It's on Zoom, it's virtual, it's for women business owners who want to expand their network and also improve their referral pipeline. So we are very open about having a referral strategy and helping each other grow and support our businesses. So it's a knowledge share and networking event for women business owners. We hope you will attend. And if you need a virtual assistant or you have a remote position that you need to hire for, we invite you to have a conversation with us so we can tell you a little bit more about our amazing virtual assistants and virtual talent pool who are pre-vetted and would make amazing members to anybody's team. We stand by them 110%. Until next week, next week's Business Learning Lab.
Yeah.
See you later, alligator.